Hello everybody, my name is Jason Parker and welcome back to this channel about magic. And today we are taking a look at a special performance where Teller attempts to fool Penn on Penn and Teller's Fool Us Season 7, the extension. This episode aired a week ago, last Friday, and if you hadn't seen it previously, I made a reaction to Penn attempting to fool Teller. It was a surprise, Teller didn't know it was coming, and it looks like now it is Teller's turn to turn the tables and try to fool Penn. And oh, by the way, how do you like me doing stuff with cards while I'm talking? It was suggested to me I should do card stuff while I'm talking in the intro. So the question is, do you feel entertained? No? All right then, what about now? Or we could just get into the reaction video. How's that? Sounds like an amazing plan.
Our next potential fooler is a retired school teacher who has loved magic all his life. He says he would not be in the business if it weren't for Penn and Teller. In fact, he says Penn was the one who inspired him to take the big leap and go professional. That was 45 years ago. Please welcome Teller! Now, Penn, this trick requires dialogue, but don't worry. Teller's written all the words for you. Just read them off the teleprompter while you watch the magic. Now, Teller's very, very sorry if this distracts you from trying to figure out how his trick is done, but there's no way around it, so good luck.
Well, I'm sure that Penn knew this was coming someday. You know, he did it to Teller already. But he did look pretty surprised there, I gotta admit. It kind of felt like even when Allison finished describing the whole he was a school teacher, 45 years of magic, he was inspired by you, like Penn still hadn't figured out that it was gonna be Teller performing right then and there. Anyway, this is funny that he's got the teleprompter, so Penn will have to focus on both reading the words and trying to pay attention to the magic. It's a clever idea. Proceeding.
Oh my goodness, if I'd seen these scissors, I would have known it was you. I should have known. I surprised Teller last season by coming on and trying to fool him. I remember his face. He looked like he swallowed his tongue. So I guess it's only fair that the rat bastard is putting me in the hot seat now. Oh, look at this scissors and a bell jar with a spool of thread. My favorite color, too, pink. So you made this all special for me, huh? Oh, good, good. Thank you. You're winding the thread very carefully, so either it matters a lot or you want me to think that it matters a lot. You know a lot about thread from doing the red ball and the needle swallowing and, oh, the scissors, okay, got it. Right there. Cuts like real thread. Now you're folding into a figure eight, just like the needle trick. That's to keep it from tangling when it comes out. I knew that, but you knew I knew that. That's why you wrote that part. You're not gonna do the needle trick. I know how that's done. Kinda. What's that, a plastic film canister? Okay, so I should hold out my hand. He's gonna do the needles? It's full of needles, and now they're rolling around in my hand. Nice misdirection. I've taken my... You're pinching the rolled up thread onto the end of one of the needles. You're squeezing it. Stop! I can't talk, watch, and hold these stupid needles at the same time. Okay? I'll put down the needles.
That's funny. I thought for a second he was just talking on his own. I wonder if he went off script for any of it so far, or that was all exactly how Teller had him say it. Already I feel like there's a lot going on. I'm trying to pay attention to his hand to see if he like switched out the thread or switched out the needle. But so far it looks like he just wound up the thread and then took one of the needles, which was just a needle, and stuck it to the thread and wound it up a little bit. I haven't noticed any foul play so far. How about you? Don't comment below, it's too early for that. Please, have some respect. Continuing.
Thank you, son of a jackal. Okay, now go ahead. You're tapping the needle with the scissors, using the scissors like a magic wand. Do I know this trick? Did you show it to me like years ago in a Tommy Wonder book, you weasel? Oh, geez. Some of the threads have melted right through the eye of the needle. It's so small, I can't really see, but Teller's got a magnifying glass. Looks like they're through the needle. You threaded
really
the needle
fair.
like 50 times. Oh, Jiminy, can I examine that? It's beautiful. Can I keep it? Whether or not I figure out the trick, I'll want to remember this moment, because anytime either of us wins, we both win. We always are and always will be partners in the same bubble.
All right, give it up for Teller.
That was sweet.
Can I look at this? I can take it and look at it?
Yeah. Okay, Penn, you know how it works. You go back.
I do know.
Yeah, and I get to interview Teller, which will be very interesting. I'm so excited. So how did you feel when Penn challenged you last season? Ooh, yeah. Okay.
Nervous.
How do you think he felt when you challenged him? Mm-hmm. So, look at him. He's so cute. Oh, and you did it completely without him ever having any clue. And it's true that you actually told him about this trick a year ago or something? Wow, that's amazing. He should
That's
pay
even
more
better.
attention to you. All right, well, it's time to go to Penn and see if he figured out your trick. Penn, how about this handsome gentleman?
Well, I got to hand it to you. I did it last year. I should have known you were doing it. There was no doubt you were going to do it. Anybody would have figured out that you were going to do it. I should have been prepared for it. But on that front, you completely fooled me. I had no idea you were going to do a trick for me. I was even talking to you about doing the trick last year and how I tried to find how hard it was to figure out one. I had that whole conversation as though we were shooting a movie and I knew and it was foreshadowing. But I didn't know. You completely fooled on that. You completely fooled me 100%. And on this, you completely fooled me 100%. I can't even know where to start. So you bring down the trophy.
Yay!
Shake his hand.
We have a fooler!
He has a fooler. We have it right there.
Yay! That was a big surprise for Penn. We'll have more surprises for everyone next time on Fool Us. Good night from Las Vegas.
All right, I'll go ahead and give you my concluding thoughts. Well, just from watching, I was fooled. I don't know how Teller did that. There were a lot of things happening though. You know, I was paying attention to both of them, and I was also paying attention to the teleprompter, trying to see how accurately Penn was staying with the words. So I feel like I need to watch it again more carefully and see if there are any clues. Shall we do that now? Why not? One moment. Alrighty then. So after reviewing it a second time and pausing and playing, I was able to see and understand how Teller accomplished this effect. So by the definition, I was completely fooled. As I said earlier, magic is best meant to be experienced live, not by rewinding and playing again and again. Although we can if we're curious, because it's on video now. At any rate, things that I want to say about this. A, Teller performed it masterfully, very organic and natural. The moves didn't seem suspicious to me at all the first time I watched. Only when I was putting it really under the microscope did I understand. B, this is a cool effect. I really like this idea. C, was anything edited out? Was it unfair for us viewers at home? Well, I would say yes and no, but mostly no. There were some things that we didn't have the opportunity to see. I would say the video editors gave him a favorable angle. But what I'm happy about is they did not make it impossible for us to piece it together. They gave us enough that if you watch carefully, if you rewind and check it out again, you have a more than fair chance of being able to unlock the puzzle. And I think that's just perfect. That's exactly what you want with the video editing. At first I was going to show myself kind of rewatching the video and piecing together how it worked. And then I felt a little bad, like it was just a little bit too much exposure. So I will attempt to put together some code talk right now to obfuscate things a little bit. All right, code talk, what can we say? Okay, here we go. Just as there was a teleprompter that Penn had to watch, so there were kind of like two things going on at the same time, Penn had to keep switching his attention back and forth. Likewise, Teller had more than one thing going on there on the table, and he was using lots of misdirection with different props in different hands. The end. That's the code talk. So hopefully that made sense to you, or didn't make sense to you, as I'm trying to kind of walk a fine line between discussing the method and avoiding outright exposure. But I can say this freely, is that Teller used sleight of hand and misdirection. There were no fancy gimmicked props here. This is just like what a magician should be doing. It's something that can be appreciated and enjoyed. Not that gimmicked props are bad per se, but you know, I think everyone enjoys sleight of hand because of the skill it conveys. The hours of practice. And D, because I think we did A, B, and C already. I just like to say that it's really enjoyable watching Penn perform for Teller and Teller perform for Penn. I kind of wish they would just keep doing this. Like, don't let it stop here. I hope we have some more surprise performances like this in the next season. It could almost be its own entire TV show, Penn versus Teller. Two accomplished magicians trying to out-magic each other. I think it's very entertaining. And what about you? What did you think? Do you understand how the magic worked? Or are you completely baffled like I was the first time upon watching? Do you want to see more of these Penn versus Teller acts? If so, smash like to let the producers know that you loved this video. And I guess it would help me too. And now it's time for an Aesop's... My bad. And now it's time for an Aesop's fable, wherein which I will read to you a random story, one paragraph long, and we might learn something about life. Today we are reading this short little guy here, chapter 30, The Dolphins, the Whales, and the Sprat. The dolphins quarreled with the whales, and before very long they began fighting with one another. The battle was very fierce and had lasted some time without any sign of coming to an end, when a sprat thought that perhaps he could stop it. That feeling when you realize that you should have Googled sprat. Define sprat. Sprat is the common name applied to a group of forage fish belonging to the genus Spratus in the family Clupeidae. Like most forage fishes, sprats are highly active, small, oily fish. Really? So there are oily versus non-oily fish? That's a thing? Learn something new. They travel in large schools with other fish and swim continuously throughout the day. But what do they do at night? Thanks, Google preview of the definition from Wikipedia, so I didn't actually have to click the link and load Wikipedia, allowing myself to exert the most minimal amount of effort to learn just enough. So where were we? The argument was going on and on, when a sprat thought that perhaps he could stop it. So he stepped in and tried to persuade them to give up fighting and make friends. But one of the dolphins said to him contemptuously, "We would rather go on fighting till we're all killed than be reconciled by a sprat like you." So, I guess him being a tiny little fish of no consequence, the dolphin felt too high and mighty not to be given advice by such a pesky little nothing. So here, Aesop is talking to us about societal classes. I guess whales and dolphins are more equal, and then you've got the sprats. These common, oily fish. Ugh. Really? Though? Please. Comment below. Have any of you heard of fish being oily or non-oily? I mean, they're wet all the time. Am I right? Okay, so if we look at this from a high level, from a learning level, we have two groups of people who are clashing and fighting against each other. It was a fierce battle, and it was looking like it wasn't going to end anytime soon. So it was a bad thing. They're both wasting their energy, attacking each other, being injured. It's not good for anyone. And the small little sprat comes along and wants to give some good advice, which would actually help them. But the dolphin has too much pride to listen to such a lowly being. So we could say that don't let your pride get in the way. It doesn't matter where the advice comes from, it can still be good advice. And just in general, don't be a snob. Don't think you're so much better than other people because of XYZ. You should have a healthy self-esteem and think well about yourself, but not to such an extent that you're looking down your nose at others. Nobody likes an elitist, a snob. Don't be that person. And anyway, I think that's about all we're gonna get out of this lesson. So, that pulls to a conclusion this video, pretty much. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate that. Make sure to click notifications all, because that's the really key part to see if you'll be notified about my new videos or not. And I could conclude the video right now, but how about this? Since you, valuable viewer, thank you, have stayed thus long into the video, I want to share a little experience with you. Something that happened to me recently. A little bonus tidbit. So just today, I went to get my hair cut. There was a lot of snow still on the ground, but it's gotten warmer today and it's starting to melt. I felt completely secure walking on the sidewalk in my tennis shoes. As I was coming back home, I was walking down some steps, and then suddenly my feet just whoop, just slipped out in front of me. I was almost horizontal, parallel with the ground, and in my head I was like, oh no, 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 and my arms were kind of going up, trying to flail to get myself to not actually fall, but it was too late, and I just went foomp, and then right on the edge of the stair, you know, that right angle, my back just went bam right onto that, and I felt like, well, my first thought was, ow, the pain, the agony. But a half second later, my second thought was, am I paralyzed? Did I just lose the ability to use my legs right now? And as I was laying there on the wet, dirty ground, I could feel my toes, I could move my legs through the agony, and I was just very thankful that I wasn't paralyzed. So yeah, that happened today, and it made me feel very grateful. So I don't know if there's a moral there. I mean, try to be careful when you're walking. I'm generally Mr. Cautious when it's icy and slippery outside, but it felt just like normal, except for that one step that was extremely slippery. Anyways, I'm gonna be even more Mr. Cautious than I was before if there's any snow melting outside or anything like that. And yeah, that truly, really and truly brings to a conclusion this video. I hope you're having a great week, and I'll see you in the next video.